Hey everybody, this is Lorelia. I'm doing a YouTube live tonight. Want to talk about two things. Some news that recently just happened regarding TransUnion and I believe Equifax. But before I get into that, I'm going to talk about two topics. One is the TransUnion Equifax, deceit, or should I say the deceiving that they did to the general public. And also want to talk about debt settlement because it's a question that I often get. But before I want to continue, I want to say Happy New Year. It's 2017. We're 4 days in. Many of you all will make the very common should I say, resolution about this will be the year that I will become debt free. This will be the year I will increase my credit score, improve my credit, whatever the case may be. Finances is always on the top of the list for individuals. And this is what I have to say regarding that whole topic of New Year's resolutions when it comes to finances. Don't expect to get the results for the work that you did not do. And I know that statement is going to make a lot of people mad. I'm going to say it again. Don't expect to get the results from the work that you did not do. What do I mean by that? You have two choices when it comes to improving your credit. You can either pay someone to do it, or you can invest in yourself and gain the knowledge. What you do not want to do, and this is what I see so many people do, is that they think that all this information that they can possibly gather on the internet for free is going to help them improve their situation. And that's why I always say in videos, and I'm going to be very clear this year about that, is that any results that I show from people that I've worked with came from individuals who have invested in themselves. Like I always say, free information is great, but it's only to awaken you. It's not to be a strategy for you to possibly use, because all you're going to do is take a longer process to get the results that you get, that you want. And that's why I said, don't expect to get the results of others from the work that you did not do. What I find is, and it's only from the questions that I get, is that I'm noticing people are getting a lot of information, and that's great. But what happens is that since this whole topic of personal credit, debt elimination, debt settlement, it all ties together, have so many moving parts that many individuals are on information load. Because I said it in the other video. You're listening to me, you're listening to this one, you're listening to that one, and you're still trying to figure out how all this information relates to your particular problem. And what happens is that you're getting a very abbreviated version. Like I always say, I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for others. Many of the topics that I discuss, and the one I'm going to talk about tonight, is very broad. It's a very broad topic. There is no way that it could clearly fit your situation, because everyone's situation is unique. We're all unique human beings. No person is the same like another person, even if you get two identical twins. They may look the same outside, but the insides of them, of course, feelings, the way they, just respond in life is always different. And that's the same way with your credit. And so you don't want to go into 2017 trying to take strategies and try to tailor them to your situation. Because like I said, many people are just on information overload. And the information overload is causing them to get confusion. And with that confusion, they're not understanding why they're not getting the results. They don't understand it. And a lot of times when I read the emails, I can tell why, because they're mixing information. And like I said, I always tell people in the email, if you want me to go further, expand further into a particular topic in a video that I talk about, along with look at your situation, let's do a consultation. Because what I'm not going to do is write 1,000-word email trying to figure out what it is that you have going on and what I could possibly help you with. And that's why I do the free videos. I don't do the back and forth email responding, because a lot of times you need to look at your personal situation. Although the topic may be similar to yours, but you still want to look at the situation at hand. So that leads me into tonight's topic, debt settlement. Many people have asked me, okay, Lorelia, should I or should I not settle my debts? I'm on this debt-free journey. I want to eliminate my debts. Should I settle a debt? And it always depends. What I always say, the way I look at it is that debts are broken up into 3 areas: current, past due, charged off. The way you would settle a debt for a current debt is totally different than for a settlement debt. But see, now we are going in a season of flourishing, a season of abundance. And the reason why I say that is because many people are going to get abundantly overflowed with a tax refund. And from that tax refund, they are now going to say, hey, remember I made that resolution on January the 1st and said that I'm going to be debt free. And I got this settlement offer and it's only $200. This ain't nothing. It's $500. This ain't nothing. $1,000. This is nothing. $1,500. This is nothing. Let me go pay it off. Now, let me stop right there. I just want to put a disclaimer out there. I am not trying to advocate for you not to pay your debts. If you feel like in your heart of hearts, you signed your John Hancocks on, you want to pay that debt, by all means, pay it. But understand the nature of what you're paying. Question that I got, which was related to the situation, was that, Lorelia, I settled a debt and I paid it off. And now another debt collector is trying to collect on it. How is that possible? And right then and there, I already knew the moving parts to that situation. The reason why it was sent to the consumer again is because it was a debt owned by a debt collector. And I just want to say this. I'm noticing I have people on, but for some reason, because I noticed the other live that I did, there were some individuals asking questions. Okay, now I figured out how to do the group chat, because before I had people who were commenting and I didn't even know that they were commenting. So going back to what I said, that debt was owed by a debt collector. I've said in so many videos, you have to understand the evolution of debts. And so when you understand that evolution, that is what debt collectors do. They repackage debts. And so what the gentleman did not know was that settlement offer was an offer based on an amount that the debt collector decided was profitable for them, which is different than what it is that you owe. And I know you may be wondering, well, Lorraine, why do I need to know, the debt collector making a profit versus what I owe? The reason why you want to know that is because at the point that the debt gets charged off from the credit card company, the store card, or whatever type of debt it is, it goes into the hands of a debt collector. And so the debt collector buys the debts on 10 cents on the dollar, 5 cents, whatever it may be. Because remind you, they're buying a portfolio of debts. They're not just cherry picking saying, hey, I want Steve Smith's debt, or I want Jane Jones' debt. They're buying a portfolio. So what happens is that since they are buying it at a discount, it is a discount. They're not buying it for the value of what it was, the bad debt on the books of, let's just say, Visa. They're not buying the value of it. So if the debt was $1 million of all the accounts, they may have only bought it for like 200,000. So they know anything that they get above 200,000, remind you, I'm doing a portfolio, not each account, is gravy. What does that mean for you as a consumer? I'm going to use easy numbers. Charged off at 1,000, debt collector bought it for 200. They can settle with you for 500. That $300 is money in their pocket, because remember, they only paid 2. They got 5 from you, which made it, which was the difference between 200 and 500. You paid the 500 because that worked at 300. That $300 is now profit to them. Remember now, the $1,000, which is what they paid for. Anything above that extra 500, extra 500, they sell that, and that is why you get another debt collector coming to you trying to buy the other portion. And that's why I always say why debt validation is the most powerful strategy that you can use when you decide to pay a debt, even decide if the debt is even valid enough to be reported onto your credit report. I mean, debt validation plays so many parts, and it definitely plays a part in debt settlement. Because like I said, most people, when you hear a person saying they want to be debt free or what have, a lot of times those individuals are talking about current or past due debts. They're trying to pay off current debt, bring the past due debts current to pay them off. Many times they are not talking about those charged off debts. And if they are, like I said, you have to be very careful, because if you pay a debt off that's past the statute of limitations, I've already talked about that in another video where I had a lady who came to me. The debt was over 15 years old. One, it was too old to collect on, and one, it was too old to collect on, and number 2, it shouldn't even be reported on her credit report. So that's easy stuff to remove. But at the point, if she would have just went on, because money was no option for her, money was no problem for her. So at the point, if she would have just wrote the check, they now have the authority to put that information onto your credit report. And so now you have an old debt that is past the statute of limitations and is now got put on your credit report. So you may be wondering, well, Lorraine, why they do this to us? Is that nothing ain't fair? It's not the point of fair. And that goes into the next point that I want to talk about with TransUnion and Equifax. It's because it's $1 billion industry. I came across an article that I wrote, and I may link it underneath this video, back in 2011. And I talked about how because I had did some research about the national debt, which was in the billions. So I wasn't just saying it for a fancy thing to say, like, ooh, this is real cool to say. Financial ignorance is $1 billion industry. I was saying that because when I looked at that report, is a government report, it goes into all the debt that is owed in the US by borrowers. And it talked about revolving debt, unrevolving debt, student loans, what have you. It was in the billions. The accounts of people owed was in the millions, but the debt itself was in the billions. So that's why I was saying back then it's $1 billion industry. So when people say, oh, you know, why are they doing that? Because it's money, it's profit for them. And so, you know, many people are talking about today about Equifax and TransUnion, you know, getting slapped by the government. It's an easy fine. That fine is nothing. That fine is nothing for the credit bureaus. They have a, I wouldn't, and I'm not certain, but I would not be surprised because most companies in America, because they understand that, you know, lawsuits do happen, they do occur, that they have accounts that have money sitting in them just for lawsuits. So that fine that was given to TransUnion and Equifax is, they can just write a letter for. Is real easy beans, no big thing. And so what does that mean to you as a consumer? You're either going to be a victim or a victor. You know, a good friend of mine always say, so many people treat their situation like a charity case. And you don't want, if you're looking for any type of resolution of what you're going through financially, any type of help with the situation, you have to take yourself out of the victim mode and now become the victor. Because like I said, we are now going into a season of abundance, a season of overflow, where people are going to be balling out with their tax returns. People are already spending the money before it even gets in. And so I say, you know, of course, I'm going to talk about what I have going on, but you need to invest in yourself. Don't go into 2017 saying, I'm going to sit like a bird on a branch and just wait for people to pour free information out so I can possibly change my situation. Because the same individuals who say that are going into a windfall, or going into an overflow, where they have the money to invest in themselves. I said in another video, I have a class coming up. We kick off on Sunday. Glad to see people are taking action. And, you know, if you want to learn more, you can go www.yourmoneymentor.com/credit2017. Not only are you getting 4 weeks of me helping you understand how this whole process goes, because remember, I'm only looking to work with people who really want to figure out how this works. You know, like I said, I have no problem with credit repair companies. No, plenty of people in that industry, well respected, but I speak from the place of education, financial education. I feel like that's the biggest payoff. Anybody can give someone their situation. You know, most people just want to hand their problems to somebody. Not going to pass judgment, but that's just what it is. They want to pass their problems off to people and say, hey, this is it, you figure it out. But I always tell people, one thing that no one can ever take from you is the knowledge and the information. When over $2,000 was taken out of my bank account, 1999, I was in my 20s. I did not even know any of this. All I knew was a hunch. I said, something about this don't seem right. I don't know where I'm going to go to find this information, but I'll be darned if this ever happens to me again. I will never have a creditor levy my bank account and take money out. And if you want to know what I mean by levy, that is a process of you owing a debt, you ignoring the debt collector proceeds to sue you, wins a judgment. Now the judgment means they now have the authority to see if you have any assets. Do you own a car? Do you own a home? Do you have a bank account? Voila, I had money in the bank. They put a levy against my account and took the money out. By the time the bank notified me, the money was out. This was before online banking. This was before text balances to your smartphone. If anybody remembers in the 90s, you were dialing up. So I physically got a pink slip in the mail from my bank saying this amount of money was taken out, and the rest is history. And for there, I said never again. So that's why I said this class is for people who want some type of financial help. They want to figure out how this goes. They want to increase their credit score. They want to get relief financially, and they don't want to be a victim. They don't want to be part of the population of people that these big companies prey on. You know, in the article, they said not only was the two credit bureaus, but they said even mortgage lenders were taking part of this. I've said in so many other videos, if people only understood that Equifax, Experian, TransUnion are marketing companies that have your information. FICO, which is the algorithm scoring model used to calculate your score, is a whole separate entity from the credit bureaus. They just use the FICO modeling system. That's why so many credit bureaus a few years ago created what's called the Vantage score. And now, you know, they've created it, but it's still not widely used by a lot of lenders. They still use FICO. So what all that means is that it's what I've always told people. They are operating in the capacity of what they are. They are corporations. They're not governmental agencies. And that's why I said you can leverage the information I teach you, and you will never be a financial victim again. That's why I said I don't care what happens to my credit. I can trash my credit tomorrow, and within 3 or 4 months, my credit will be back. Only because I know what to do. 3 to 6 months, I'll be back just where I started, because I know what to do. And I tell anybody, if you take this information, you could do the same thing. That's the same with the credit, the credit repair companies. They understand the information and they're leveraging it. So once again, this is Lorelia. Like I said, if you want to learn more about this class I have coming up, just go to www.yourmoneymentor.com/credit2017. I look forward to doing some more videos and hope to see you in the class. Okay, bye-bye.